And now for the other side of the aisle, let's bring in Republican Congressman Mark Meadows of North Carolina, who voted against that one-week stopgap and the three-week extension as well that failed earlier in the day. Congressman, what's the end goal here by voting against this?
You know, really what we're wanting the Senate Democrats to do, and really the request, and one of the things that's not widely reported, is actually last night on two different occasions, we said all we want the Senate Democrats to commit to is to go to conference. Let's get together. Let's bring Republicans from the House and Democrats from the House, Republicans and Democrats from the Senate, and go to conference. And Harry Reid said no. And so if you've got Harry Reid still in control saying that we're not going to allow the two sides to get together to at least come up with a workable solution, I don't know where we are. And so that's one of the reasons why I voted against it. The other, I think, is that we do need a longer-term solution. The American people are tired of us kicking the can down the road and having one deadline after another. You know, I know it's been asked if we're going to have this same fight over this week. I think the answer is obvious. It is yes. It's going to continue to happen.
If we admit that these fights are going to continue to keep happening, we're kicking the can down the road. At one point it was for 3 months, now we're down to 1 week. Why do the optics never seem to work for the Republicans and in their favor, in the sense that Speaker Boehner keeps talking about Harry Reid and the Senate Democrats? You have as well, sir. Yet it seems as though if you look towards the American people and how it plays out, it always seems to be that the Republicans are being blamed for mucking things up, for lack of a better term.
You know, if we start to focus on who gets the blame and not doing what we have been elected to do, the people back home in North Carolina and across the country have said, we want to send you to Congress not only to find solutions, but to represent us. The Speaker said he was going to fight this tooth and nail.
Did the Speaker fight hard enough, in your opinion?
You know, the Speaker is in a tough spot. You know, he is fighting this fight, but obviously when we start to look at this, if we cave on this particular lawless action by the President, you know, what's going to be next? You know, is the President just going to use his executive power to bypass Congress altogether, and the very institution that our founding fathers put forth is at stake?
In that sense, when you talk about trying to go after the President on the issue of the executive actions on immigration, and that's really what this battle comes down to, there's the balance, of course, between what Republicans in Congress want to do and what sort of the rules and politics have proven you can do over time. How do you balance those two things? Because so far it hasn't worked very well.
Well, you have to balance it with one undergirding foundation, and that's called fairness. Is it fair that the President is taking executive action and taking dollars, quite frankly, that are fees for legal immigration and using them to promote the amnesty of illegals? That's not fair. You know, even those who are college graduates coming out of college having to compete now with 5 million new people, is that fair? So I think you have to have an undergirding of fairness and fight for what is fair and right.
Well, you make a point that you're standing on principle. There's one other issue of fairness, though, that I want to bring up, and it's something that I haven't heard a lot of discussion about, and that's the 250,000 employees of the Department of Homeland Security. You got everybody from folks who are manning the airport magnetometers for the TSA. On the other side, members of the Coast Guard who are out risking their lives every day, the Border Patrol, Customs and Border Protection agents. Are we, is Congress doing enough and keeping the promise to them in terms of what America owes them for their service? These are people who are now worried, okay, I'm going to be standing a post with a gun, my life's on the line, but I may not get a paycheck next week. Is that fair?
You know, certainly they would have gotten a paycheck. So I want to make sure that we looked into that. Those paychecks are already on their way, and regardless of what happened last night, they would have gotten paid.
Well, they would have gotten paid for this week, but they may not have gotten paid going forward.
Certainly your point, and I will agree with your point. Our men and women who are protecting our borders and certainly are out there risking their lives for the rule of law, we must make sure they're compensated, and we're committed to doing that. The Speaker's been very clear on that. But the other part of that is, if the very laws that they're there to defend and uphold are thrown to the side and said they don't really matter because a president can just with the stroke of a pen say enough, then what are they really defending? We need to get back to the rule of the law and the respect for the rule of law.
And we'll see if that happens coming up next week. Congressman Meadows, we appreciate it. We also appreciate your wife giving you a hall pass to stick around until 12:40. We'll talk to you then about the new emails coming out in the Lois Lerner IRS targeting investigation that you've been instrumental in. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, see you in a few minutes. And now